The Assetto Corsa Evo 0.8 update just dropped, but the performance did not. And we are finally getting a true next-gen experience that we've been waiting for. I've been putting this update through its paces on the Pimax Dream Air, paired with a brand new S-Boys free driver. That driver optimization completely changes the game. And we're talking a rock solid 90 FPS without sacrificing a single drop of visual clarity. Today we're testing 0.8 across different tracks, new vehicles and multiple resolutions above 72Hz and 90Hz. Plus I've got a brand new optimization guide live on the official Pimax site for you to check out. Let's get straight into the action right after this. Starting straight into showing you what the Dream Air with the S-Boys free driver does to transform your experience. We are directly into Spa-Francorchamps in the Lotus Exige, and here's an example of how much you can push the envelope on this sim. And don't worry, because I get a lot of questions on this. How do you install the S-Boys free driver? And I'll be showing you this later in the video, exactly how to get it set up running on both the Slam and the Lighthouse headsets. This is an extreme example of exactly what this driver can do for your setup. So first of all, on screen we are using Pimax Evo with Pimax Player 1.44.2, and this is with the OpenPort enabled, so no S-Boys free driver at the moment. And you will see that we have an average of 84.5 FPS at 90Hz, so pretty incredible. But this is at SteamVR resolution of 100%. Now visually this is stunning, but let's move over to the S-Boys free driver. Now this is mind-blowing. Literally I cannot get my head around this, and neither could other Discord users. We are getting at 150% resolution, so cracking up the resolution by a staggering 50%, 87.6 average FPS. And on the right hand side of the screen you can also check out the through the lens footage as you would expect from the channel. And you may have also noticed that I'm also using the incredible Studioform X1P in the video here, and you can also grab yours using the exclusive link in the video description and the code NEXTLEVEL, and this completely transforms the headset. And this is my daily driver paired with a 3mm fabric gasket. It gets you much closer to the lenses and also improves your field of view too. And some of you may be asking why I've not mentioned dynamic foveated rendering in AC Evo. So far in my testing, although it did work fine, there was unfortunately a strange shimmering to the trees and vegetation, so at the moment unfortunately it's not worth implementing, and other testers also agree too. The true test of performance in any sim is the Nurburgring Nordschleife, and this time we are in the new Maserati GT2. This is where deep diving further into the SteamVR settings associated with the S-Boy free driver also allowed me to discover some interesting improvements in the per application video settings, and these were actually fairly well hidden. The advanced super sampling filter, by switching this off, I found improvements from 82 FPS to an average of 88 FPS. And you can also see on the right hand side of the screen the through the lens footage. We have some very talented individuals in our Discord, and this is completely free to join, and the link is also in the video description, and both El Hydra and Aaron are two moderators who've also put a lot of work into testing AC Evo to help provide you with best settings. El Hydra has some incredible results in AC Evo on the Pimax Super Ultra Wide, and he is also using an RTX 4090. Check out the right hand side of the screen now, where you also see he's getting a solid 90 FPS at 90Hz, and this is incredible. He's also done some amazing guides available in our Discord too, so be sure to check those out, and all of the new guides are available to download in PDF and one click in their own section. And remember, you can also help the growing community by contributing with your settings too and getting involved in the discussion. And to give you an example of how mind-blowing the S-Boys free driver is, on screen now is a message sent to me by Olafur, a new Dream Air owner having moved from a Super 50 PPD, and his reaction, as you can see, speaks volumes. This was an absolute blast, and I absolutely love driving this Honda S2000 VTEC sports car around Castle Donington. Great fun. And I felt that in 0.8 there seems to have been some improvements to handling too. The rotation of the car feels so much more dialed in. But in this section I thought, okay, let's push the envelope, so I cranked up the SteamVR resolution to 150% and did a couple of laps at 72Hz. Now disappointingly, this didn't run as well as the results I got from 90Hz, but El Hydra then commented that I should be running the spectator window minimised, so this is something that I definitely need to do. On the right hand side of the screen again you can also see the through the lens footage, and it looks absolutely stunning. So at 90Hz I got a smooth 88.4 FPS at 100% again, but at 72Hz at 150% it hovered around the 65 FPS. Now I know a number of users prefer to play at 72Hz, but I literally just can't, and I always stick to 90Hz. In this example that's definitely the best option, as agreed by all involved who have been testing too. The Ferrari 296 at Monza is a pretty wild child to control, but in this section I'm demonstrating what many people keep asking. Can you wear headphones with the Dream Air? And as you can see, I'm using here completely comfortably the Astro A50X McLaren Edition Logitech headphones. And these are perfect, and give a real sense of immersion. Now as well as this, we're getting a silky smooth 84 FPS, and again this is at 100% in SteamVR and 1.0 quality in Pimax Player Evolution. Now in case by now you hadn't realised the unanimous verdict that the S-Boys free driver is an absolute match made in heaven for the Pimax Dream Air, and also other Pimax headsets too, we've already seen what El Hydra has demonstrated is possible on the Super Ultra Wide. And when the distortion profiles are available for all headsets, you can be sure to know that I'll be testing those too. Now hang around, because in a moment I'm going to show you how to get the S-Boys free driver installed for your Pimax too. If you want to grab the Dream Air for yourself, you can get a discount right now by using the link down in the video description. As an official Pimax Sim Racing ambassador, I'm thrilled to be able to pass that serving along to you guys. And remember, if you need help dialing in your settings or support with your purchase, I have a dedicated Pimax representative on hand to get everything done so you don't have to worry. And also a free community Discord. We have a fantastic group of enthusiasts in there sharing custom performance configs, graphical tweaks and hands-on technical support. The links to the discounts and the Discord are both waiting for you down in the video description, or scan the QR code on screen here and use the code NLSimGaming to get your discount today. A quick installation guide on using the S-Boys free driver. At the moment we are using version 1.30 and this is the S-Boys free GitHub, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to both S-Boys free and also Mbuchia for their fantastic work they have put into this project and making this possible. First of all, if we head to the release list on the left hand side, we're looking for the latest version, which at the time of making this video is the version 1.30. We then scroll across and click on the tab. We need to ensure that we are reading the README list because this obviously will be changeable. And at the bottom here, you can see that the one that we're interested in here is the full support version for all headsets and also includes the OpenVR Open Foveated rendering as well. We then locate the version 1, which is here, and we click on the download. I've moved the downloaded file onto our desktop to make it easy for you to see. So this is the custom headset 1.301 beta, and you can see it's in an extraction folder. We need to download WinRAR or 7-zip or an equivalent. The next thing we need to do is we need to go to our C drive. We need to create a new folder on our C drive. We've called this one Custom VR Driver. You can then call it whatever you wish. And once we've extracted the contents of the download into our Custom VR Driver folder we created, you can see that there will be two folders that will appear here. So to begin with, you can see that we have a traditional Pimax Player screen here on the right hand side, and we have the Lighthouse version what we're using in this example, and you can see that both base stations are detected. I've also opened up on the left hand side here SteamVR, and the reason I've opened this up is because most of the issues occur by not having the correct runtime enabled, so I'm going to show you how we make sure we do that. To verify which version of runtime you have enabled, you need to look on SteamVR. On the left hand side here, you can see there are 3 lines. If we click on the 3 lines, then we need to scroll down to settings, a new menu will appear. You can see here that we have SteamVR enabled as the OpenXR runtime, which is correct, but we also need to check this next in another location. The next thing we need to do is to install Pimax Evo. We are showing you this in this example. There is an alternative method to use if you wish to install it without Pimax Evo, and again I'll leave a link to the official Pimax method in the video description. However, you can obtain Pimax Evo either from the OpenMR website, and they will send you an email with a link within that. Alternatively, you can head over to my Discord, and I've also put a direct link in the Pimax help section as a number of users weren't receiving the email through. On the left hand side here, you can see we have settings, and if we then scroll down, you can then see there is an option that enables us to switch windows, and I already have Pimax Evo installed. I'm now going to switch the window across to Pimax Evo. We've already verified that we have the SteamVR as the active runtime within SteamVR itself. However, Pimax Evo allows you to quickly swap between both Pimax OpenXR and also SteamVR. In the right hand side of Pimax Evo, you can see here that we have Pimax OpenXR and also SteamVR. In order to launch the S-Boys free driver, we need to make sure that we have SteamVR also enabled here too. Once we're happy that we have SteamVR enabled, we can then move over to the developer mode section here, and you can presently see that the Pimax OpenPort is off. We then need to click on the downward arrow to the right hand side here. That will then expand this window. You can see there is an option to enable Pimax OpenPort. We need to select the slider to the right hand side. We then need to confirm that we are enabling the Pimax OpenPort. So once we've enabled OpenPort, you'll see that a new section will appear here. It indicates that we need to now import and launch the S-Boys free driver. There won't be any contents on your particular version of Pimax Evo if you've never used it before. However, in this example, you can see that it presently has returned the previous driver information from my previous installation. If we click on Import, and then it will then take us through to our actual file explorer here, we need to click on the C drive, and we need to find our custom VR driver folder that we created and extracted the download contents to. If we double click on this, and then we need to then locate the custom headset GUI. You can see here it's an application. If we double click on this again, you can see that that has then pointed the directory to the actual driver itself. Then simply all we need to then do is click on launch. Once you clicked on launch, there will be a short pause, and you will then see that a Pimax native headset window will appear here. And we also then need to perform a couple of additional steps in here. So you can see here that the headset is not currently being run by this driver, and none of these settings will have an effect. We need to enable this driver and restart SteamVR with a headset connected to change this. To do this, we need to enable the Dream Air driver, and then we need to then restart SteamVR. So I've now restarted SteamVR, and you can see here that the errors are now gone, but our base stations on the Lighthouse version are no longer detected. And the reason for this on my particular example here is that I have previously had another driver installed. If we click on the About screen that has an exclamation mark glowing just up here, you can see here that the previous version driver that I had installed was a 1.30 beta 0, and in this instance I'm showing you how to install the 1.30 beta 1. The actions we need to perform are closing SteamVR completely in order to activate that driver, and the screen will go black for a very short moment. We then need to click on the install 1.30 beta, and you can see here that the install has been successful. As a final check, you can see here on the S-Boys free GUI that we have no errors showing, and we are now ready to use our Dream Air because the Dream Air driver is enabled. There are a large number of variable settings in here. I'm not going to go through any of these with you, and this installation video I'll let you have a look at those and determine which ones you want to use. But me personally, I've just been using the standard enabled Dream Air driver. If you're using another Pimax headset, you can see that you will then need to activate that within the relevant section. We have the Crystal Series 1 here. We have the enable section here to enable or disable it. We also have the Pimax Super Micro OLED, the 50 ppd, also the ultra wide as well. So there are a number of different options available for you to select from in here. Back onto the S-Boys free driver with the Pimax Dream Air, which is the one we're using. We can see there are no errors. But one thing that I did notice was that in SteamVR, it was showing that we only have one base station detected. This caused me some confusion initially. However, we can easily identify if this is an issue or not by simply going over to Pimax Evo. And in the bottom right hand corner, you can see here we have a tab that is called Settings. If we click on that cog icon, we then switch over to Pimax Play Classic. And it will then bring up our classic window, which we can see here, and you can see that both base stations are detected normally. I believe this is some form of bug, but there's no issues in terms of tracking. Everything has been absolutely perfect, and we can now move across and move on to our games and launching our title of choice. To do this, we can do this in two ways. We can actually launch the title directly from Steam or within the headset itself. There is an additional step that you need to actually also do, which is to actually set up your Lighthouse base station tracking within SteamVR itself. Now to do this, you need to select Room Setup, and then it will then take us through to another menu, which will then enable us to set up our actual in-game room setup. We can set up for standing only or seated only. I'm going to show you a short video on screen that shows you how that works. Select first of all standing or seated, and then you need to then establish the tracking. Follow the instructions on screen. It's incredibly simple and very polished, as you would expect from Steam. You need to simply enter 0 into the box. You need to carry out the instructions as it's shown you on the right hand side of the screen. So for example, in this section here, we would then stand in the middle of the cleared space or hold the headset up to the base stations, and we simply need to then calibrate it by putting the actual headset on the floor and then pressing 0, press calibrate floor, and then you will see see that it will then carry out the process quite easily for you from there on. It's incredibly polished and incredibly fluid and simple, and takes literally a matter of a few moments. Once this is complete, you'll then be ready to use, as you'll see from the dancing figures here. And we can then launch from our app library, if we wish, the games from here, or once again we can launch directly from the desktop or from SteamVR. Additionally, if we want to switch back over to Pimax Player Evo, we can simply click on Settings, and then if we scroll down, you'll see there is a switch window box here, which allows us to flip between Pimax Evo, which we're going to switch back to here. And you can see on Pimax Evo again, we have the menu available here. You can see here that SBoys 3 is enabled, and we are now ready to launch into our games and enjoy. And there you have it, guys. The numbers speak for themselves. Testing Assetto Corsa Evo 0.8 across both 72Hz and 90Hz proves exactly how far optimization has come. Even running at a massive 100% native resolution, 4016 by 3396 per eye, we were pushing a rock solid average between 80 and 88 frames per second. But the real mind blower was cranking the super sampling up to 150%, pushing a staggering 4920 by 4160 resolution per eye, and watching the system hold strong right up to an average of 87 FPS at 90Hz, and hovering around 65 FPS at 72Hz. Now the takeaway here is clear: the brand new SBoys 3 driver doesn't just marginally improve performance and edge-to-edge visual clarity, it completely redefines it. It turns a Pimax Dream Air into an absolute undeniable essential for next-gen sim racing. And if you want to grab the Dream Air and dial in these exact results, check out the discount link in my full optimization guide on the official Pimax site down in the description. Now don't forget to jump into the free community Discord to grab these exact custom performance configs and get any technical support that you also need. Smash that like button if the data helped you out, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.